Hi there, welcome to United and Everything Football Podcast. We should be winning that game. I know you agree with me that we should be winning that game. But as for Rasmus Højlund, I have absolutely nothing to say. I want to say it, but I don't want to say it. God will punish him.
You didn't just say that on the pod. Calm down, my friend. Calm down.
God in heaven, you know I'm in a length season. And I don't want to sin. So please, deal with him for me. Okay.
You've already sinned by condemning another man.
God should deal with him for me.
God have mercy upon us.
It should deal with him. How do you miss those chances?
We don't have a striker. Kwame, we don't have a striker. We don't have a striker at the club. It's a waste of £100 million. We don't have a striker at the club.
Anyway,
it's simple as that.
Well, it's great to have you on the podcast, Kwame. It's great to have you back on the podcast.
Always good to be here.
Anyway, so we are here to discuss the game against Arsenal. Just that, because in midweek we'll look properly at the second round fixture of the game against Real Sociedad and any other matches that will be arising. But United played against Arsenal at Old Trafford. At some point, we felt our record was on the line after the Declan Rice equalizer. But we had far more opportunities to win the game than Arsenal did. And I felt very disappointed right after the game. But that's football for you. We're here to break it down for you here on United and Everything Football. Thank you very much for being a part. Remember to hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, and be a part of this beautiful podcast that we put together for you. So let's get it turned around. When I come back, I'll delve deep with Kwame into the game and then we'll get you every bit of an analysis that you need to get here on United and Everything Football. All right, thank you very much for being a part of the podcast. We asked you some questions the other day. Let me look for the answer because me myself, I don't remember the answer. Let me look for the answer. Those of you who have been using ChatGPT and AI, God has seen you. I won't say God punish you, but God has seen you. Let me go and look for the answer. So the answer to the question, Kwame, do you have the answer?
I think it's Wayne Rooney in 2011 in the 8-2 win.
Yeah.
And in 2001, Dwight York also scored a hat-trick in the 6-1 win.
So that's the answer. So Wayne Rooney and then Dwight York doing it for Manchester United there. In that quiz question, so to all of you that got it, a lot of you were mentioning Wayne Rooney because of that famous 8-2 win, right, against Arsenal. Mm-hmm. Yes, so basically that's all right. Thank you very much for being a part of the quiz. Unfortunately, we are not bringing any quiz today because we were so busy watching the game we forgot to prep for the quiz. So, let's get straight into the game. It was a very good game. It started
surprisingly good performance, yeah.
Surprisingly, a very surprising good performance. I'll leave the analysis to you. And what do you generally make of it before I come in with my bits from what I got from the game?
Before I get into the game, it's very important we touch on a very important subject that has affected the club over the past 2 decades and continues to affect the club. I'm not going into the game without ever mentioning it. Yes, there was a protest organized by the 1958 Manchester United fan group before the game that was attended by 5,000 United supporters, a lot. And it's another Glazer out protest. It's probably the 18th Glazer out protest that's happened over the last couple of decades. Yeah. It's gone too far now. See, we have discussed this on the pod a couple of times. I think 3 or 4 episodes ago, we had a very extensive conversation about it with Sicho on the pod as to where our problems lies. There is no way we can spend this, no matter whether it's players, it's been coaching, it's been poor purchases, poor management of funds, whatever. The buck stops with the Glazers. They've mismanaged this club to a very point where we find ourselves in the bottom half of the table, struggling against literally everybody. And it makes it very difficult to even revamp the squad financially because of how poorly the club has been run up to this point. We are in humongous debt and it's strangling us. The rules make it so tough that it's strangling us, despite even new ownership in the form of Sir Jim Ratcliffe pumping in money, some money into the club to be able to relieve us a bit. It is nowhere near enough. We've lost too much. It's gone to the point where now it's affecting the team on the football pitch. Enough is enough. Honestly, I don't know what we have to do to finally get change, but a full sale should be inevitable at this point. A full sale to somebody else to take control of the football club and run it the best way possible. I've had enough. Personally, I've had enough of that conversation. It's just too much for me and I can't bear it anymore. It's for every United fan, we should be up in arms on the same boat here. We shouldn't be going back and forth on things that are not necessary. The Glazers, we've had enough of the Glazers. It's about time they go. Now let's get back into the game.
Yeah.
If you offered any United fan a point at the start of the football game, I'm sure many would have bitten your hand off and then taken it. In the previous episode, I did predict that we would get a point from this game. It came from a place of hate because I don't like Arsenal. I hate the Arsenal more than any club. Mm-hmm. So I'd never ever sit there and objectively predict them beating us ever. It doesn't matter if they won 7-1 in Europe on Wednesday. No. When it's Man United versus Arsenal, I see the game through a different eye. I feel like there is more to it than meets the ordinary eye when it comes to that fixture, because that's the fixture that I was born into when it came into the Premier League. The fixture I hold the highest up there, I felt we could get something from the game, and the game panned out exactly that way. But how did the game go about? We started again with our normal 3-4-3, but this time around, Rasmus Højlund was benched, right? And we brought in Christian Eriksen in his stead. Yeah. Garnacho played on the right as he did in Europe, and I'll talk extensively about Garnacho whilst we analyze this. Yeah. In the middle of the park was Bruno Fernandez and Casemiro. Our wing backs were Mazraoui on the right, who was fantastic, and Diogo Dalot on the left because Dogu isn't available. The back three was Matthijs de Ligt, who had been moved from central centre back to right centre back. Surprisingly, Victor Lindelof started his first league game in 12 months. First league game in 12 months. I'm repeating that, first league game in 12 months. March to March. 2024 to March 2025. In the center of the centre backs. And he was fantastic. And on the left-hand side was Lenny Yoro. The game strategy is what I want to talk about and sort of comment Amorim from, because I did say in a previous episode that if we do pack our box, we have the chance to frustrate them and catch them on the break. Yeah. And that's exactly the approach from the very beginning. That would stay in a deep block, and staying in the deep block sort of favored certain players. For instance, the likes of Lindelof is very good at defending deep blocks with Maguire. We all know this. That's their forte. When you ask them to play higher up the pitch, it's a problem. But when you ask them to defend their box, that is like bread and butter for them. And he was at the center of it. Casemiro, alongside Bruno Fernandes, worked because Casemiro didn't have to cover much spaces. Yeah. Just sits in the back four and show the backs, and I think he played excellently. The problem was, in this system or with this approach, it's about the approach, not necessarily the system. With this approach, it's about playing on the break, which is traditionally how we've always played against Arsenal when we're even in our pump. But the difference between the United of old and today was we had weapons going forward. But this time around, the only threat that we had on the counter-attack was Alejandro Garnacho. And he played his best game in probably 3 months. Or in all this time under Amorim, this is probably the best game he's played, because he was our only outlet in terms of pace, in terms of going in behind, in terms of dragging defenders with them. I would say, though, that it was aided by how poor Calafiori has actually been as an Arsenal player.
Yeah.
Is he a centre back or a left back? Some of the signings that this
confuses a lot.
I don't want to get in there, but he was just horrible. Garnacho was taking him on the right, basically. And I was disappointed when he was eventually subbed, because I knew, that sub sort of didn't favor us. But then we'll get to the second half. First half, it was all, if the ball didn't get to Garnacho for us to take the ball to the Arsenal half, we basically couldn't do anything else, because Zegzi didn't win a single battle against those centre backs in that
central
first half.
defenders, yes, of Arsenal.
You would
yes.
expect somebody as big as him to be able to hold the ball up. It's something
Yeah.
we've criticized Rasmus Højlund for, thinking that Joshua Zirkzee is slightly better. Against quality centre backs, he's also shown that he's not of the required level or standard. I've seen this thing that fans are going on about because he has had a few decent games. You see, fans will live in a moment that Joshua Zirkzee is now a keeper. No, it's about standards here. What is required of a Manchester United striker? Neither striker offers that or has offered that to this very point. Let's not be fooled by a couple of decent football games. That's what we do as fans. And we get hooked onto players that we should not be getting hooked onto. It's about time we learn as fans to move away from that culture.
That's
player
correct.
FC culture. Let's not even begin to start with Joshua Zirkzee. He's not it. I'm not going to stand here and talk up any differently. He's not it, and I'll stand by it no matter how well he performs from now to the end of the season. We didn't create any chances. So I was saying to myself, you know what? How else have we been scoring over the past few games? Set pieces. It's always been set pieces. It's either an indirect free kick, a direct free kick, or a corner or something, or a penalty. It has to come from a set piece because we can't create chances in open play. If Garnacho gets in behind, who is alongside him? There's no one to even pass the ball to in the box. Nobody. So Garnacho gets onto the ball very, very late in the first half, and Trossard stupidly fouls him at the edge of the box, offering us our first chance to have our first chance or a shot on target in the game. And up stepped who else but Bruno Fernandez? Who else? Where would we be?
The usual suspect.
Yeah, he's the one who is either assisting from set pieces or scoring from set pieces. And what a free kick that was. We haven't seen that in quite a while, right? I think this season we scored one direct free kick from him. And I think this is the second direct free kick, if I'm not mistaken.
The second direct free kick, yes.
But this was a belter, absolute belter. It went over the wall with pace, power, and precision. But I would also say that Raya gave that side of the goal like too much space. I don't know what he was playing.
If you watch the slow-mo, he made a step before the ball went inside. I said to myself, where he made a step to should have been where he should stand, because if he had stood at that point, he would have
been closer
and then parry the ball out. But it's good for us.
He's not the tallest of goalkeepers, so for you to give up that much space on the left-hand side, expecting the wall to do the job, that was atrocious. See, there's been this debate going around. I'm going to hit on it. This whole Bruno Fernandez, Martin Odegaard stupid debate that's been going on the internet. These two players are miles apart in terms of quality, delivery, performance, stats, everything. Let no one be fooled by the fact that Bruno Fernandez is currently playing in a poor Manchester United team. Odegaard cannot lace his boots. Odegaard has had one good prolific season at Arsenal. Besides that, it's all just been sprints. He's been doing an Anthony in the middle of the park most of the time, just playing scoop balls over the top. Barely plays any productive football. Barely plays it. And then, see, they should be honest. Arsenal fans should be honest. Has he been the captain that they think he should be? By one or two good seasons, has he really, really led as well as he should be leading? Especially this season. He's been poor. He's not Bruno Fernandez level at all in any way. Let no one be fooled by Bruno Fernandez could play for any team in this world. I doubt Odegaard could. Odegaard was dumped out of Real Madrid. Stick Bruno Fernandez in Real Madrid right now, and he would play. Trust me, he would play. And he will play extremely well. He'll be far better than he'll be far more appreciated than how rival fans and some of even our old ex-footballers see him. When you don't build good teams, very often most of the blame is always placed on the shoulders of the very best players because a lot is expected of them. And if you look at Bruno Fernandez's numbers, he has been consistent all throughout for the past 5 years. Yes, we've come to sit here and criticize them at times because there are times where, just as ordinary fans, in as much as we talk footy, we are just ordinary fans as well. We do get frustrated by some of his performances, but his overall body of work, come the end of the season, when you consider his overall body of work, he would have done his part, and he continues to do his part. But for him, I don't know where we would be this season. Earlier on the season, he was trash. He stepped up ever since, especially for Ruben Amorim. He's doing his best, except for the fact that we have an overall lack of quality, especially in forward areas. We take the lead, a surprising lead. The first time we led a Premier League game since December the 1st. First time. Amorim has been crying for that we should try and take the lead in games because that's what offers us the chance. And by doing so today, what happened was we had our record, like you mentioned, on the line. We haven't lost a game whilst leading at halftime since 1984. It spans close to 300 football matches, 300 league games. Basically, in the Premier League era, Manchester United has not lost a game when leading at halftime. So I was fairly confident that, worst case scenario, we'll get the draw that I expected. But guess what? That second half, how it started. This feels like storytelling, doesn't it? That second half, how it started. I'll describe this sequence of play to sort of epitomize what ideally Amorim's system is supposed to entail. Because you see this at other clubs who play a very similar system, i.e. Inter Milan, where you have very quick transitions involving their wing backs, their center forwards, hold the ball up, play the ball to their wing backs, and often at times the wing backs find themselves in the box. A long ball was played into Joshua Zexi, and for once he held the ball up brilliantly, spinned the center back. I can't tell whether it was Saliba or Gabriel at the time.
Sent it to Dalot.
And then sent it to a forward Russian Dalot. Dalot chips the ball one time, doesn't overthink it this time, with his left foot to an on-Russian Mazraoui in the box. And he should have scored, but for Raya making a stupendous save. That's the system. I come here and I say, I've said it for months, that if you don't have a striker who holds the ball up, it completely defeats the system. If you don't have full backs who are committed to attacking or finding themselves in the final third very often with confidence, it totally defeats the system. These two things are extremely crucial. But for months, we've not been seeing our strikers holding the ball up. We've not been seeing our full backs flying. But over the past couple of games, I've seen a change. In the last game, even at Sociedad, like we came to sit here and described, many people didn't watch it because they are a bit disappointed. You can go back and catch up. You could see Dogu and Dalot flying forward all the time. I think that's the change that Ruben Amorim was even talking about, saying he's seeing little details that seem to be improving. How our centre backs play and how our wing backs play. We should have scored from there. That wasn't the only chance we had in the second half. We had another chance to score. It was just a case of being profligate in the second half. That second chance came for, I think, Zexi, where he tried this flick or whatsoever. People were saying, it was a good effort. He should be scoring there. In those high-stake games, you should be scoring. I don't think he was under so much pressure that should even have been the best option to go for. But he should not have given the goalkeeper a chance to even save that. He should have scored. But I can't say I'm surprised either. Neither of these strikers are prolific. Zexi goes off and we bring in Rasmus Højlund on. Arsenal are still trying to bang down the door that we have suddenly shut. But for one lapse of concentration, because that's what I'll call it, because let's be honest, Arsenal didn't have any clear-cut opportunities. None. Up until they scored a goal, they did not have any clear-cut opportunities. They had certain pops at goal, like from the edge of the box and all that, but allowed it. There were chances that we were willing to allow because those were
from a certain distance.
From a certain distance, where Onana can easily make a save. But I think a lapse of concentration where Timber makes a run into the box and then lays it to the edge of the box, where you'd expect one of our central midfielders to be closer, i.e. Casemiro and Bruno, but none of them were tight enough. And fair enough, I think Declan Rice took it very well. Took it very, very well. But after that, our pressing game was good, surprisingly good. We didn't typically drop our heads like we often do when we concede. Instead, Manchester United was edging forward, pressing high, impressively. And through one of those presses, Bruno Fernandez wins the ball off one of the centre back and lays the ball on a platter for Rasmus Højlund simply to score. And he takes a touch, and I don't know what he's doing. He gives Declan Rice every chance in the world to just make a slide tackle and get the ball off his feet. He had a goal at his mercy. I've come here and criticized Rasmus Højlund for most parts of the season, but today I can't even do that anymore because I'm tired. I've got to the point where we all have to resign ourselves to the fact that we overpaid for a kid who is nowhere near being the starting centre forward for Manchester United. He's probably not even ready to play for a club like Manchester United.
Yep.
But he was put in a position that he should never have been put in, being bought for that amount of money, being made the first choice striker at Manchester United. Now his confidence is completely down. It's zero. There's nothing there. There is nothing. I bet he can't wait to the end of the season. And when the season does end, we have to find a solution. Either we send him on a loan to be able to recoup as much of the money that we spent on him, or we find a way of selling him and replacing him. I'm not about, give the player 2 or 3 more seasons. That is the issue that we've had at this club, where we hang on to certain players for too long. As soon as possible, rectify the mistakes that you make and just keep it moving. That's what the big clubs do, the top clubs. That's what they do.
Yeah.
Barca will buy this guy who has been sold from Betis. I forgot this Brazilian forward.
Rocky.
Quickly, after 6 months, it's not working. Send him on loan somewhere. Then you sell him, get your money back to Brazil. It's fixed. You just keep it moving. You get what I'm trying to say? PSG would buy a Colomwani for almost 100 million euros. After a season, it's not working. Don't force the situation. Don't let it stagnate us. Send him on loan to Juventus. Just keep it moving. You rectify the problem as soon as possible. United don't do the right thing at the right time, and that is what has cost us. Let's not relax on this. Rasmus Højlund was not an Ineos signing. Ineos shouldn't have second thoughts about this. Get rid of him and bring our striker.
Absolutely.
I'll get into the whole Mateta thing in a bit. I've seen fans talk about the fact that Mateta is not the level of striker that. See, let's stay humble. I think there's a humility about us that fans don't seem to accept. Football heritage, as Jose would say. Yep. We are not what we used to be, so we have to start from somewhere. When Liverpool were trying to get back up, these were some of the shrewd signings that we were making by signing Premier League proven players to be able to get them to where they are now. It wasn't just by miracle. Mateta will do 10 times the job that our strikers are doing. I don't care how you feel about him, but Mateta has proven over the last couple of seasons that he cuts it in the Premier League. What we have doesn't cut it. I'd rather have him than any of these 2 strikers that we have. Although, of course, we would want better, but he's not the worst player in the world for people to sort of trash him because, he's not a big name. Let's just get back to reality. Game goes on, and United is still being dogged. We have a last-minute opportunity that was created once again by Garnacho. Now, I'll touch on Garnacho. He's had a lot of stake, but he was good today. He was excellent today. He was our threat from start to finish. And once again, he gets to the bar line, places the ball into the box, and our wing back is in the box in Mazraoui, who was excellent going forward. Yeah. That's the system. The wing back should be there all the time. They should literally be forwards. Like the wing backs are forwards in the system. He also pulls the ball back brilliantly. Excellent first touch, spins, places the ball. I think he cuts the ball back to an on-rushing Bruno Fernandez. And I think it's game. In my mind, I'm just watching the TV and I'm saying that's game right there because Bruno Fernandez will score this.
Misses that.
And Raya comes up with
from nowhere.
Worldly save.
Wow. That was
the first save was impressive, but the recovery to get the ball off the line was even better. So the game ends 1-1, and in the end, you're saying to yourself that, damn, that was it right there. We should have won this game. Arsenal would come out of this. They should even be lucky they didn't lose, but they would also feel like, oh my God, that's the end of the so-called title race. And that brings me, that brings me a lot of pleasure. They are 15, 16 points behind Liverpool now. If they do go on to face Real Madrid or Atletico Madrid, their season will be over. It will probably still be in Europe, hopefully. And at the end of the day, at the end of the season, we'll count the trophies once more. So yeah, that's my review. I just have to stick it into the.
That's a very good one. I'll touch on a few things, and the first person I'll touch on is Aiden Heaven. There were certain dynamics going on into the game. Obi Martins, Aiden Heaven. I'm sure Obi Martins will be very disappointed not to have been involved because I feel he should have been the one coming on and not Rasmus Højlund because he's got a lot of confidence. He's got a lot of. I mean, there's this. You see. There's this thing, the energy.
What a story it would have been if he had that was at the back of that chance and he actually scored it.
He wouldn't have wasted a touch. he would have definitely scored that. But that's football for you. And the coach had other ideas, but rather decided to bring in an experienced forward. But Aiden Heaven, he came on, looked a bit jittery, but when he settled, you could see the kind of player he is, making clearances, staying in the box, making it very difficult for opponents to, the Arsenal players to, going into duels. That's what Teta will say. You should be winning your duels, and that's exactly what he was doing. These are players he was training with just about some few months ago, so he has a very good idea. What really got me was when he made a certain tackle and was signaling to the United fans to come on, come on. Tells you how much
you're playing on adrenaline as well.
exactly how much of that meant to him, and I feel he had a good. I think he's very good on the ball. I think he's very good on the ball.
You know what I like about him?
Yeah, talk to me.
His size.
Yeah,
it's his size.
Well, that's the profile.
For an 18-year-old, that's a big boy.
Profiles that our people are looking at right now.
You can clearly tell that
you can see there is a profile.
Exactly. Physical, big, quick, and technical. That's basically it.
Very. And if it continues like this, when he gets a round of games, I have this hunch. Not that I think he's exceptional, but I have this hunch that he can be able to grow into the role. Remember,
I think you save us some money if he's able to do so, because Lisandro Martinez is the only left-footed left centre back that we have. We have Shaw, but we don't talk about Shaw because we know that Shaw he's there, but he's not there. So if he can stay fit, grow his confidence, because Kwame, he should be playing. Let him play. Yeah. The league, we're not going to get relegated.
What do we have left?
We have nothing to lose. So play him in the league.
6 more points to safety.
It's easy. Our next game is against Leicester, right? Leicester. The relegation 6-pointer. This is how we get further away from that relegation talk. But play the kid. Let him play and build himself into a Man United player. Yeah. So that come preseason, you can turn back and go like, we can work with him. We can develop him. If you can get Martinez fit, if Shaw, because I know it's going to be difficult. See, fans will agree with me, but I know it's going to be extremely difficult to move Luke Shaw.
Yeah.
Nobody will take him. He will probably end up staying probably another season.
We terminate his contract and we allow him.
It's the only way. But you know that one too. He has like 2 or 3 years left on his contract.
That's it.
If you have these players available, you can make do with Haven as a left-footed centre back, so you don't have to invest in defense again. Because we have to invest higher up the pitch. Higher up the pitch, we don't have anything. But we don't have anything higher up the pitch. There's nothing higher up the pitch.
We don't have anything.
We have to reconstruct our whole attack. And we are going to lose Casemiro inevitably. We are going to lose Eriksen. We need a couple of midfielders as well. Yeah. So as for defense, I'm not looking at defense again.
Let's see what we can do in those areas. So I felt he gave us a very good game. Winning tackles, winning duels, making very good moves. Having that confidence to drive the ball forward, I felt was good. Lindelof, much respect to him for the kind of performance that he puts in.
Going out to the bank, yeah.
I think one of the most improved players we've had has been Matthias de Ligt. He has been at it from the get-go. He has been at it from every minute. And you know the funny thing about these two, Mazraoui and then de Ligt, these are players that we considered injury-prone when they were coming into the club. But these guys have played a countless number of games.
They've been the fittest players at the club.
Anytime Mazraoui goes down, I hold my heart and I ask myself, is this guy going to come back up or he's going to stay available? And then he's available the next game. And he's doing it through the month of Ramadan. And it tells you the kind of player and the heart that he's showing. Yeah.
I want to add this. Sometimes when a lie is told too often, it becomes truth.
Yeah.
Because even I was one of those people who believed Matthias de Ligt is a very injury-prone player.
But there was contrary evidence to us.
Exactly. After a couple of weeks into the window, we started to see contrary evidence to that. But he's never really been injured. And there have always been other reasons as to why he's been moved from club to club. Same with Mazraoui. The political reasons as to why Bayern Munich decided to get rid of them. Not because of injury. I think sometimes when people are better, they sell information. It's going on in basketball right now. I don't know whether you know anything about Luka Doncic. He moved from the Mavericks to the Lakers, and the Mavs have been bitter about selling us lies that he's injury prone and he's been drinking and he's been smoking. And you are the guy, you don't do it.
All right, so
Anyway.
it was generally sad that we couldn't win, but I think aspects of the performance really improved and made us better. And I wasn't surprised, especially with the setup, because I told people we were going to sit back. That's exactly what we're going to do. We have box defenders, and it's going to be very difficult for anybody to think that we're going to Arsenal were going to turn us over and then whitewash or wallop us.
Arsenal fans were very naive in thinking that was ever going to be the case.
I mean, they should know this and know this better. But that's football for you. So Kwame, so that's basically a few thoughts that I gathered of the game so far. Ericsson also had a good game. I think he covered various spots very well. He played with a lot of experience. I mean, at some point, Amorim needed players who could hold on to the ball, especially in certain zones, so that you don't lose the ball. When you have Ericsson, you have that technical security, so that you don't lose balls in certain zones, and then don't have those turnovers that would likely, affect the game. I mean, we had a lot of, excuse me, quote unquote, draft players already. Players like Diego Dalot will just run there with the ball and then send it to the throw. I mean, so you need players to be able to hold on to the ball in those zones, and that's exactly what we had. So that
was the quickest take you've ever had on Gallo. It's like so quick. Like just let's keep it moving.
There's nothing more to say about him. So basically that is that. All right, Kwame, let's wrap it up. It's our time to end the podcast. We'll be here next week or in the course of the week to bring you a very good preview of the game against Real Sociedad. We'll extensively look at it, what to do, what to expect. I think if you have such performances and we're able to improve our going forward in one way or the other, we can dream about the Europa League. But let's see what happens. We will be here to discuss it here on United and Everything Football. Kwame, it was great having you. Thank you so much. It's great having you, our cherished viewers who have been with us. Even in our low moments, you've always been a part of this podcast. You've never left us. Every time we come here, I will appreciate you. Trust me, I will appreciate you because you guys make this podcast tick. Without you guys, no one else is going to watch. To have all of you people watching our podcast means a lot to us. Thank you for being a part. Those of you who have been watching and have not subscribed, please remember to subscribe, hit the like button, share your comments, and let's see you on the next one when we play against. We'll do a preview before the game against Real Sociedad. Have a great time. See you next week. Bye-bye.